In the heart of Oyo, Ayo faced her mother-in-law, Mama Abena, with fierce determination. Ayo declared she would no longer tolerate Mama Abena's wickedness. With tears in her eyes, Ayo knew she had to take control of her life. Determined to leave, Ayo packed her belongings with the help of loyal village guards. King Olatunji, Ayo's father-in-law, heard her cries and vowed to help. As tensions rose, Ayo shared her heartache with the king. The truth about Mama Abena's deception began to unfold. In the end, love and forgiveness triumphed over all misunderstandings. In the heart of the vibrant village of Oyo, nestled beneath the vast African skies, a fierce and determined woman named Ayo gazed at her mother-in-law, Mama Abena, with an unwavering resolve. "I have tolerated your wickedness for far too long, but no more," she declared, her voice steady and clear. "I will not allow you to come between me and my peace of mind any longer. As you can see, I have a bundle of joy to take care of," she said, her eyes softening as she referred to her newborn child, a little girl named Temitope. Mama Abena's face twisted with indignation. "You dare speak to me in such a manner? I am your elder. You should show me respect." Ayo's heart raced, but she stood firm. "Ademola, we are leaving this village and starting anew in a different place. You can choose to come with us, or you can choose to stay behind with your mother. The choice is yours," she added firmly, her gaze shifting to her husband, Ademola. He looked at Ayo, his expression clouded with uncertainty. "I don't know what to do, Ayo," he said, his voice trembling with confusion. "Can you please give me some time to think about this? My mother may be difficult, but she's still my mother, and I can't just leave her alone, especially not now that she's so sick." Tears welled up in Ayo's eyes as she realized her husband was not ready to make a choice. In that moment, she understood she must take matters into her own hands. Cradling Temitope against her chest, she turned to leave the room, her heart heavy with the weight of indecision that hung in the air. Despite Ademola's pleas, she pressed forward, determined to seek a life free from the shadows of her mother-in-law's looming presence. With the help of loyal village guards, Ayo returned to her family home, packing her belongings amidst tears. She was certain that Ademola, a devoted son in his late 20s, would never break free from Mama Abena's grip, and the thought alone was unbearable. While packing, she remembered her father-in-law, King Olatunji, who always treated her like his own daughter. It felt only right to pay him a visit and explain her intentions before leaving. The following day, Ademola took his ailing mother back to the palace and informed King Olatunji of the arrival of his first grandchild. King Olatunji's face lit up with joy. "May the gods be praised!" he exclaimed, dancing around with glee. "How is Ayo? Is she in good health?" "Yes, father," Ademola replied, striving to mask his doubts. "Ayo is strong and in good shape." King Olatunji, a wise and benevolent ruler, wasted no time, ordering the palace guards to fetch the freshest fruits and take them to Ayo, a new mother. He also instructed the royal cooks to prepare enough catfish pepper soup for Ayo and her baby. "And please ensure that after Ayo and the baby have rested, you bring them to the palace to see me." Ademola returned home, arms laden with gifts for Ayo, who marveled at the love her father-in-law constantly showered upon her. At least she had someone to be thankful for, she thought. "Can we talk?" Ademola asked, taking Ayo's hand lightly. "If your talk has nothing to do with living with your mother and I, then I have nothing to discuss with you," Ayo replied, her voice laced with frustration as she turned away, wiping away tears. That afternoon, Ayo, a caring mother, fed her daughter Temitope, who was just a few weeks old, and finally took a moment to rest. Soon their friends came to rejoice with her and meet the baby. Their laughter and joy enveloped Ayo like a warm blanket, making her feel special. Yet deep down, she felt the urge to share her woes, to pour out her heart about the battle she faced with Mama Abena. But she held back. Later that evening, Ayo, a resilient young woman, made her way to the palace, determined to speak with King Olatunji. Upon entering, King Olatunji, a wise and caring ruler, was taken aback at the sight of Ayo and the baby. "Are my eyes deceiving me?" You shouldn't be outside so soon after giving birth. You need plenty of rest, he scolded gently. As Ayo greeted King Olatunji, she gently placed her baby Temitope into his arms. King Olatunji cuddled the baby joyfully, but then noticed tears streaming down Ayo's face as he turned to speak to her. Concern washed over him. "What is wrong, my daughter?" he asked, his voice softening. Ayo poured out her heart, recounting the series of abuse she had endured at the hands of her mother-in-law. She spoke of the cruel words, the harsh treatment, and the constant belittling that had made her life unbearable. "Your Majesty, I appreciate everything you've done for me. It is unfortunate we have to part this way, but I am tired. I'm tired of being a spectator in my own life. Ademola is not married to me. He is married to his mother," Ayo cried, her voice breaking. King Olatunji listened intently, his heart aching for his daughter-in-law Ayo. "I had no idea," he murmured, disbelief etched on his face. "I thought Ademola had a good marriage. I will resolve this situation." Ayo shook her head. "There is nothing to resolve. Mama Abena, a cunning woman, is pretending to have a terminal illness, which I believe is just a new plot to snatch my husband further away from me." "You mean to tell me she conspired with the palace physician to fake her illness?" King Olatunji could hardly fathom the idea. The very thought of his wife being capable of such deception was unfathomable. Yet, looking into Ayo's determined eyes made him wonder if there was some truth to her claims. "No one should witness their child in pain," he stated, his voice firm. "You should be basking in the joy of motherhood and taking a well-deserved rest. This unfortunate situation brings me shame." Ayo, a hopeful young man, listened intently as King Olatunji expressed his apologies on behalf of his son and the child's mother. King Olatunji, a dignified ruler, earnestly requested 2 days to thoroughly investigate the matter at hand. After a moment of contemplation, Ayo felt a growing respect for the king's commitment and agreed to wait. Returning to her home, Ayo, a hopeful young woman, felt a glimmer of hope that perhaps things would change. Meanwhile, King Olatunji, a stern man in his 50s, sat on his throne, wrestling with disbelief and anger at what he had just heard. He decided to confront his wife, Queen Abena, hoping to give her a chance to explain before jumping to conclusions. Upon entering her quarters, he found Queen Abena, a regal woman in her late 30s, lying sick in bed. Not wasting a moment, he confronted her. "Is it true? Did you conspire with the palace physician to fake this illness just to keep our son by your side?" he asked, anger and disappointment lacing his voice. Queen Abena's eyes widened, taken aback by the accusation. "What kind of accusation is this, my king?" she gasped, faking a cough. "I swear to you, I am truly ill." Her voice trembled with emotion. "I would never deceive you in such a manner." King Olatunji, a discerning ruler, felt an unsettling tension in the air as he confronted Queen Abena. "Tell me the truth, or I will find out another way," he warned softly yet firmly. Queen Abena, a graceful figure, maintained her innocence, pleading with the king to believe her. After he left her room, panic set in. If the truth came out, she would lose everything. She needed to act quickly and summoned one of her royal maids to discreetly fetch the palace physician. That night, as her maid returned, she reported seeing the palace physician being led into the king's court. The queen's heart raced. "What has happened?" she demanded. The maid explained how the king was questioning the physician about her health. The next morning, King Olatunji, a powerful ruler in his 40s, summoned the palace physician to uncover the truth about the queen's condition. The physician, trembling with fear for his life, confirmed the queen's illness. But a seed of doubt began to grow in King Olatunji's mind. Despite his doubts, King Olatunji decided to give both the physician and the queen one last chance to come clean about the situation. As the sun rose, the tension in the palace thickened, with whispers of deceit echoing through the halls. King Olatunji, a regal figure, summoned the chief priest, a powerful man known for his ability to commune with the spirits. The king instructed the priest to bring the queen and the physician to swear before the oracle of their innocence. The atmosphere was thick with anxiety as they stood before the oracle, an ancient stone figure shrouded in mystery. The priest warned of the dire consequences of lying, urging both to speak the truth. Queen Abena remained silent, cold, and unyielding, her demeanor a stark contrast to the tension in the room. Ademola, standing by his mother's side, looked at his father with a mix of anger and disappointment. As the priest turned to the physician, calling him forward to swear before the oracle, the man's face grew pale with fear. He knew the stakes. Desperate, the physician approached Queen Abena, urging her to tell the truth to spare him from the wrath of the oracle. However, Queen Abena smiled smugly, believing she could manipulate the situation. The moment arrived, and the chief priest began the sacred incantations. In a moment of desperation, the physician stood. "I will confess, your majesty," he said, trembling. "The queen conspired to deceive you. She is not truly ill." Gasps filled the room as King Olatunji's eyes widened in disbelief. He turned to Queen Abena, his heart heavy with sorrow. "Is this true?" he asked. But she remained silent, unable to meet his gaze, knowing her deception had been unveiled. King Olatunji felt a rush of anger, sadness, and betrayal. His daughter-in-law Ayo had been right all along. The truth was finally out. As Queen Abena stood exposed before him, he dismissed the physician from his royal position and ordered the guards to expel him from the palace. In the midst of the chaos, Queen Abena cried like a child, begging for her son's forgiveness. "Ademola, you are the only one I have. Please don't hate me. I'm sorry for everything," she pleaded. Ayo, a caring young woman, arrived just then, holding little Temitope, her baby, in her arms. She sensed the tension in the palace. Her mother-in-law was in tears while her husband wore a sober expression. But as soon as King Olatunji saw Ayo, he beamed with joy. "Ayo, I called you here today to apologize on behalf of my family for the way you have been treated." Ayo, a wise and patient man, urged Queen Abena to acknowledge her wrongdoings. With humility, Queen Abena approached Ayo, tears streaming down her face. "I am deeply sorry for how I treated you." Mama Abena expressed her deep fear of losing her son's love and attention, admitting that it had clouded her judgment. Ayo, feeling conflicted, responded softly, recalling the past incident where Mama Abena had apologized before the wedding, but later ruined her wedding dress. Queen Abena, feeling the weight of her actions, admitted, "Yes, I did, and I'm sorry." Ademola, shocked by the revelation, glared at his mother. "You really did that? How could you watch me defend your honor foolishly?" "I did it because I love you," Queen Abena exclaimed, her voice trembling with emotion. "I didn't mean to hurt anyone, but I realize now that I was wrong to try to keep your attention to myself," she confessed, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. Ayo looked at her mother-in-law with compassion, her heart aching for the woman she admired. "I never sought to take your place in Ademola's life," Ayo reassured her gently, her tone soothing and understanding. "As his mother, you hold a unique bond with him, nurturing him from childhood. While I am his wife, we both play crucial roles in his life, supporting him in different ways." King Olatunji nodded, acknowledging Ayo's wisdom with a respectful demeanor. "May your days be long, my daughter," he said, blessing Ayo with sincerity. Ademola stepped forward, remorse evident in his eyes as he faced Ayo. "I am sorry for not being there for you when you needed me most," Ademola continued, his voice trembling. "I should have believed you. Please forgive me, Ayo," he pleaded, his heart heavy with guilt. Overwhelmed with emotion, Ayo whispered, "I forgive you, but I cannot stay here any longer. We need to leave this place and start anew." Ademola nodded, his heart heavy but understanding. "I am ready to go wherever you want, my love." Before they left, King Olatunji encouraged Ayo, a determined young woman, to embrace her mother-in-law one last time despite their tumultuous past. Hesitant but willing, Ayo embraced Queen Abena, a sorrowful older woman, who sobbed into her shoulder. The next day, Ayo, a determined 30-year-old woman, and Ademola, her supportive 32-year-old partner, packed their belongings, setting forth on a new journey with little Temitope, their cheerful 5-year-old son. They settled in a distant land far away from their former lives, embracing the unknown with hope. A year passed and Ayo discovered she was pregnant once again, bringing joy and excitement to their new family. Ademola stood by Ayo's side, nurturing her with love and affection, creating a warm atmosphere in their home. One day, Queen Abena visited her son Ademola and daughter-in-law Ayo, bringing an air of regal grace with her. Initially apprehensive, Ayo was taken aback by the queen's kindness and respect, feeling a sense of relief wash over her. Ayo realized that Queen Abena had truly changed, softening her heart towards the queen's newfound warmth. After Ayo, a joyful mother, gave birth to a healthy baby, she and her partner returned to King Olatunji's kingdom to introduce their child. A grand feast was held in their honor, and the entire kingdom rejoiced in the arrival of the new heir. King Olatunji, a dignified elder, watched with pride as his son, Ademola, and daughter-in-law Ayo presented their newborn child to him. Ayo smiled at Ademola, her heart full of happiness as she cradled their baby, feeling the warmth of family around them. Thus, a new chapter began for Ayo Ademola, a dedicated 30-year-old, and their growing family. Love and forgiveness triumphed over past misunderstandings, and peace reigned once more in the royal palace of Oyo. King Olatunji, an aged and wise ruler, smiled knowing that his family was now united and stronger than ever before.